years ago, and tell us what happened.
5 years ago, I had a really bad fall, and when I slipped, I knocked my head onto a metal barrier. It's a bathroom stall, and I just went all the way down, and each time I damaged my neck. I landed on a cement floor. I hit the ground so hard that I bounced up and hit it again, and I passed out. And the office secretaries hired me. And since I have a federal job, it takes a really long time to get approval for doctor's care. So anyway, I kept going back to work. I went to work every single day with the pain. And of all places, I work at a Social Security disability office here in Santa Maria. And people would come in and they would be like, I can't work, it hurts too bad. And I'm like, I know it hurts, but sometimes we don't have an option. I'm a single mom with a mortgage. So I kept on going to work. We thought that that was a blessing. We were like, oh wow, my surgery finally got approved. The accident happened June 1st of 07, and I got my surgery in September 5th of 2010. I had misgivings, but workman's comp told me if I didn't take the surgery, I'd be fired for refusal. So I did the surgery. And at first, when I woke up, I could feel my hands, but within 2 days, I was worse than I was before the surgery. And it got worse and worse. And Department of Labor stepped in, sent me to a couple doctors, had MRIs taken, and it was found out that the surgeon that did my surgery put a titanium rod in my neck. He fused the wrong section of my neck. And in the interim, I lost bladder control, use of my colon, no feeling. I had no feeling, no sensation. Doctors poked me with needles on my face. They were standing behind me, I didn't know. So the fusion, I lost all mobility of my neck, but I signed off on it. I had a sign of release. I knew this was gonna happen. So I didn't get a flexible titanium rod, I got a hard metal rod. So I knew that that's what I was gonna have for the rest of my life. And as every day went, I got less and less mobility to turn my head, to the point where driving was almost impossible. They sent me to another specialist. They sent me to 6 neurologists in all. The last one was down in UCLA. And he goes, the fusion was done wrong. And he goes, if I take it out, I put in another one, you're gonna have to surrender your driver's license because you'll lose all mobility. Because if we don't do something, he goes, you're gonna be in a wheelchair in 5 years. So what he suggested was that what they do to a tooth when you have pain, they do a root canal. They want to drill a hole in my spine, and they want to extract the nerve and cauterize it so it never grows back, so at least it blocks the pain. But he says, say goodbye to moving your head. You're never going to get your feeling back. Your colon is never going to work without laxatives. You're never going to be able to hold your urine. You're going to have depends for the rest of your life. And I burst into tears. I cried. And to make a long story short, I went to my insurance office and I said, I need to add my daughter to the policy because I wasn't going to be able to afford to add her. I said, it doesn't look like I'm going to be driving much longer. And I said, if you can help me keep that rate down because workman's comp is going to run out pretty soon. I got fired on January 30th officially by certified mail from Social Security because I failed to come back to work within 1 year of my surgery. The other thing is sometimes when you have a brain injury, you have insomnia from the nerve damage. And I hadn't slept actually since my father had passed. And that first night on Monday night, I went into the room, and her name was Belle. And I'm sorry, all I can see is that the other lady was wearing a red sweater. I can't remember her name. And they prayed on me, and they said, expect a miracle. And they had me read 3 signs behind me, and they said, expect a miracle. And I believed with all my heart. And while I was sitting there, I was like, oh no, I still feel pain. I'm not worthy. I was sitting there and I was like, I must not be worthy. I must have done something wrong with my life because I still could register the pain. And they were working on me, and they were telling the devil to get off of me, to release the pain. And what I did notice was that depression that I had carried for so many years. Pain makes you so depressed. But I was at that point on Monday where I thought, I carried 3 bottles of pills in my purse at all times. And I knew what the combination was to go to sleep and never wake up. And I carried them around like a blanket, like a teddy bear, because it was always going to be my out. That night in that room, that veil was lifted. That veil was lifted. I still had pain in my neck, but I felt a tingling in my brain, and I was like, thank you, Jesus, I am not going out. I'm gonna keep on going. I'm gonna keep on fighting the fight. And she says, you know, the devil's got such a strong hold on you, we're gonna ask you to come back tomorrow if you can. And we want Rick to pray over you. And I was like, heck yeah, I'll be here. What time do you open? So I went home that night and I talked to my little girl. I say she's little. She's gonna be 16. And she says that when I walked into the house, she says I had a light in my eyes for the first time. She says, Mama, you're back. It was a full house that day. So I had my blanket in that couch. And I would listen to the music and I fell asleep. And I slept so deep that there was somebody that said, Andrea, are you Andrea? And it took forever to get me up and out. When they were marching around with the flag, I felt a pop. And it wasn't a pop. It wasn't like you pop a knuckle. I mean, it was a full pop. It happened like 3 times. I have 3 vertebrae fused. I didn't know, I didn't know what it was. I was like, it was like pop. I sat back there, and I don't know. It was like I heard somebody say, move your neck. And I sat in that couch right there. And I stood up, and I went like this.
Oh my God.
And I smiled because my chin touched my cross. My chest bone. And I hadn't felt that. And then I said, okay, God, guess what I'm going to do? Yay. I'm looking behind me.
Yeah, what you gotta understand, she had a rod preventing her from. You'll never be able to look down, and you'll only have 10% of your. You can only turn 10%.
This is how much I had. This was my range of motion.
So we believe God took the rod, took the pins, took the fuses, took the pain.
They go, you're never going to be able to look up again. Well, my Father's up in heaven. So that happened even before the man that woke me up out of my slumber, deep slumber, took me back to the room. I think it was expect great miracles, expectations. I don't know. I was so groggy. It was like I was on Ambien times 5. So We were in there. It was Bob and Linda. And I told them everything that had happened, and the popping and the sleep, and they worked on me. They removed all of the pain. I mean, all of the pain. All of it.
How bad was the pain on a scale from 1 to 10?
The doctors always, every single 2 weeks I had to go to a doctor. And the rating's 1 to 10. 1 being livable, 10 being out of, and I always said 30. It has always been 30. So anyway, not that I want to get personal, but I'm holding my pee. I have nothing in my underwear. And I'm as regular as a buck.
Oh.